Hello, Dr. Tawana Worlds, by birth also known as a disruptor. Did you know that millions who grew up in poverty also die in poverty? Have you ever heard the saying, what good can come out of the hood? Well, I'm here to disrupt for just a minute. Yes, I was that little girl that grew up in the hood, grew up in the ghetto, single mother, absent father, eating out of the trash can just to survive. But I was also that girl that determined way back then that I was not going to become a product of my past. And now I help others do the same thing. I'm not a victim, I'm a victor. I help men and women from similar backgrounds find value in their own vault and create wealth from within. All right, hey peoples. Hello, hello, hello. So we are on Clubhouse on tonight, and I know that certain people or everybody don't have Clubhouse, so I decided to go ahead and go live here on Instagram as well as on YouTube and Facebook. Just let me know where you are joining us from on live tonight. If you are on Clubhouse and you would like to share, if you would like to share your outtake, your input, your wisdom, your revelation pertaining to this Buffalo, New York massacre, then you are free to do so over on Clubhouse. You can put your comments over here if you don't have Clubhouse, and I will address them, mention a few, and then, give feedback over here on Clubhouse. But that is the platform that I am on tonight. So you're going to see me looking over this way. All right, now, Clubhouse family and everybody else, I would like to address just a few discrepancies that I have with this whole scenario of this Buffalo, New York massacre. And I shared a couple of things over on YouTube not too long ago. I'm going to share them here. There are a lot of things that I see wrong with this whole narrative. Number one, they want us to believe that this guy, this random 18-year-old white guy, drove 200 miles. Just, 200 miles randomly. First of all, let's back it up a little bit. Randomly chose this particular location full of senior citizens that are helpless and defenseless to massacre. You go out of all the places in the United States, in your city, in your state, if you really wanted to go shoot some black people because you hated them that much, why wouldn't you go to the hood? It's a whole bunch of black people in the hood, people that can actually shoot back at you, people that can actually restrain you, people that can actually, stop, you murdering a whole bunch of people like you just did. Like that's the first thing that is very troubling to me. You selected a location that you knew was only going to be senior citizens. I think the youngest one in there was 32 years of age. My second issue that I have with this is why you could go in your city or 30 minutes away from your house. Why was this location targeted? Why? Because at 18 years of age, I don't care what you got going on. You're not that wise. And what's really, really ticking me off here is that they want to use the mental health illness. This is clearly not mental health, because mental health was not being displayed when this young man pulled up and blasted a 72-year-old missionary and took out a deacon. These were men and women of faith. A man going in there buying his son a birthday cake. A birthday cake. Imagine that. These elders that could not even harm you in any, I mean, they didn't survive all this other stuff. They didn't, I'm watching my words here on tonight, okay? They didn't survive all of this other stuff y'all didn't implement it in the last 2 years. And this is their fate, to die at a grocery store. If you really hated Black people the way that they are, putting this out there, propaganda. That's the narrative they want us to believe. If you really hated Black people like that, why choose an area where people are elderly people 200 miles away from where you live at? What sense do that make? And I don't know how many of you guys, and another thing, let me back up, take my time with this. So that's the first discrepancy, first red flag. We got to think rationally. We got to get off of all of this program stuff that likes to make things, life easier for us by just putting your passcode here and scanning your face here. We got to get off of that and start thinking rationally. We cannot allow the media to think for us or tell us the narrative. There's no way in the world. So you mean to tell me that this young man have the wits to plot something like this and just randomly say, I'm going to go target this location specifically? Let's say bump the grocery store, because there looked like some hood people that was in the crowds mourning the loss of these senior citizens. It looked like some people in the crowds that looked like they come from the streets. Why you didn't go into their neighborhood or their area? And you want us to believe that he had the wits to put something together like this? Well, I'm going to make sure that I go 200 miles out, and I'm going to make sure that I'm going to go to a predominantly Black area where there's a bunch of old people and kill them. That's the first problem. Second problem, he couldn't hate Black people too much because he didn't go to the right Black people. If you hated Black people that much, you ain't going to intend to take out no 10. Now they want to come with a narrative what he was going to do after he carried out that assignment. Man, get out of here, because we're going to get into that too next. Now you want us to believe he was going to go on down and carry out some more rampages and whatever else, as if he was just smart enough. We all know, scientifically speaking, and this ain't to degrade no brothers, because I love my brothers. I love the Kings. They are the head. Don't ever get that twisted. I'm not a whole Jezebel over here. But we do know at 18, their mindsets is not 18. We do know that. They just develop a little bit behind. Women are more, in tuned to nurture and get certain experiences that boys don't. And boys, young boys are usually sheltered, especially by their mama, because I shelter mine. And you can come from a 2-parent family, but still, they roll dolls with their mama. A man's best friend is his mama, especially if you had a healthy mother. And even those who did not have a healthy relationship with their mother, they still love their mother. They make mistakes and decisions because they're in pain, because they didn't have that love relationship with their mother. Misogynist and all of that. They take out what they really feel on women pertaining to their mother, but they still love their mother, right? So mentally at 18, they're really not 18. And you want us to believe that this boy had the wits to put a plan together like that. That's the number one red flag that we not going for. Number two, they want us to believe that this was a white boy. I dare y'all to go look up his last name. You will find out that that is a Jewish last name. Why don't we tell it for what it really is? Why are you really trying to stir up hatred between nations? Not to mention that just maybe not even 4 months ago, they were prepping us to get ready for civil war in America. Civil war is blacks against whites, blacks against Chinese. It's civilians against civilians. It's not international. It's not a foreign country coming in to invade us. It is we the people against we the people. And they're putting this in the narrative. I dare y'all to go look that up. So that's number two. Why you gonna lie about the situation? You can say that he was a Jewish man. If you go look up his last name is connected to Jewish bloodline. So that's another problem that I'm seeing. Number three, I saw the video of this man driving through the parking lot in his car, and he's live streaming this. He has a hat and a camera on his head. And he's talking to somebody. And how you can see is because the camera looks into the rearview mirror, which gives you a reflection of him, what he's doing. He's talking to somebody. Who are you talking to? For what? Who are you talking to? I'm here. That type of talk. So then he pulls up on his first victims, who happen to be an evangelist. These people, I'm just so troubled, y'all. I'm troubled. It's painful to know that after all that they have put into living and surviving and escaping sufferings, that was their fate. And you want us to believe that just some racist white supremacists did this. I beg to differ. No, this was an assignment. And you want us looking one way. But this has a lot to do with powers and spiritual wickedness in high places. This was one of them type of, you know what. So he pulls up, he blasts. I have high-powered weapons. And the purpose of me going to the gun range to learn how to shoot my weapons appropriately is so I didn't kill nobody, because I'm not a killer. I'm a defender. There's not a bone in my body that would kill somebody. Now, will I blow your pinky off? Yes, I will. Will I disable you? I absolutely will. But I'm not a killer. So I wanted to learn how to shoot my weapons the appropriate way, how to handle them, how to store them, how to unload them. And the training that they give you is not as precise as his training. When I tell you that this brother looked like he was in the military, because that's where I'm going. The way he pulled up, and I seen the video, and like I said, y'all know I'll share it on the other platform. There's no way I can share it on these platforms. But the way he pulled up, how he took out the woman who just, that's what they want us to believe, because the live streaming that I have don't say Twitch. It says like anger something. They want us to believe that it was on Twitch, but where it was being streamed from, it didn't say Twitch. It had something else on it. Nevertheless, he comes and he shoots the first three. One's in a wheelchair, defenseless in a wheelchair. One just got through helping the one in the wheelchair load the groceries into the trunk. She just walking, I mean, and so precise. Boop, boop, boop. And then he shoots through the window of the store. And then takes out another one standing on the side before entering into the store. And there are elderly people on the ground crawling, and he just literally executes them. And then there happens to be a Caucasian in the aisle laying on the ground. And he's getting ready to shoot him. Within split seconds, and he sees him and say, "Oh, sorry." Now, another woman that he didn't shot, he goes and just blows her whole brain. I mean, it's just so gruesome. And even watching through that, the first thing that came to my mind, the way he was moving, you had to be trained. I said either he was an officer or ex-military, period. There's no way he could have went to the gun range and got that training. There's no way that you can learn that on a video game. I'm sorry. And then actually be precise in your movements. You know how when police is going and raiding houses, how they move side to side, you know, just really rapidly. So that was the third issue. Number 4 issue was the day before you carried out this massacre, you hate Black people that much. You hate people that much. But the day before the shooting, you actually sit there and talk to a Black man about critical race theory and everything else under the sun for 1 hour and 45 minutes. He buys you a bottle of water. Y'all go and get something to eat to sit down and have a conversation. But you hate Black people so much, you didn't kill that Black one. I need to make this make sense, because it makes none. You want us to believe that you hate these color of people so very bad, but yet and still you sit the day before for 1 hour and 45 minutes, sitting down, walking together, getting something to drink, you know, buddying up. I mean, if you hated them that bad, why you didn't kill him? Why you didn't kill him? I'm just trying to make this make sense. So that's number 4. Number 5 is when the police came and you come out of the store with your hands up. You take off your helmet that's recording this. You take off all your clothes and you lay on the ground, and nobody commanded you to do that. That's the narrative, Black Pride, that they want us to believe, that he was just casing, you know, he was just casing the situation. I beg to defer, because if you hate somebody, you hate all of those somebodies. Why did you shoot the majority of women? Old women, that is. Why you didn't go to the hoods? Why you didn't go to the welfare buildings or where there's a group of minorities? Why did it have to be that supermarket? Who sent you? Who sent you? should be the question. Who sent you there? And then you come out, take off your hat, take off your clothing, and lay on the ground without being commanded to do so. And then you go to court. No, no, no. Now, I'm going to say this because y'all know how heavily they censor us on these platforms. They didn't say I was a whole crime organization for saying that this whole infection was scripted. But you mean to tell me that he had posts up about how much he hated blacks and how much he was a, um, white supremacist, and y'all didn't catch that? They blocked me on Facebook for 30 days for my nephew telling me happy birthday, Auntie, and I told him, thank you, baby. I'm going, you know what, because you ain't called me time. I didn't say no curse word. I just don't want to say the word because I'm streaming. But I said that, what we say, I'm gonna kick you because you ain't called me. I love you. And they said that I was inciting violence. Now you mean to tell me that you do this to me and you don't see all of this spewed hatred? So now this is the narrative. We need to go after the social media giants who didn't do enough to protect innocent citizens from him putting all of this garbage on his social media platforms. That ain't gonna fly with us because y'all didn't ban us for the most dumbest stuff. Y'all didn't ban us for the most dumbest stuff. Literally. For no reason. And this is what you want us to believe. And then the day after, there's another hate crime at a church in California. And then in New York, there's violence everywhere because they can't get the kids in the house. And then in Chicago, they looting whole districts. I hope y'all understand what's happening. I hope y'all understand what's happening. That this is nothing more than an exercise. And they want to get us riled up because they know that we are emotional responders. Trauma has been interwoven in our culture, in our bloodline. Y'all do know the elections is coming up, right? And now all of a sudden, like back to back, every single day now we're having shootings. But you mean to tell me that we didn't have shootings for the last 4 years under that other administration? We didn't have none. Zilch. Zero. Nada. And as soon as certain individuals take power, they start popping back up on the subway in New York, just randomly. As if this is some type of mental health, and not to mention what's getting ready to happen on the 22nd. That they're getting ready to hand over sovereignty pertaining to certain things in our country. If certain things happen, then governments and people that have opposed them, like in Florida and Texas, they won't have that right to do that anymore. It'll be some outsiders doing that. And that will get rid of the sovereignty law that the Most High God gave to us. And then it'll just be a one world system. Everybody except Russia, because it's 194 nations, but 193 will come under this. And this right here, it's just an exercise. That's what it is. This country is busting at the seams. Literally. If you can think of everything bad that's happening simultaneously, it's happening simultaneously. And there's a reason why it's happening simultaneously. There's a reason why there's no baby formula. All of a sudden, the makers were told to halt production because it was giving babies bacteria infections. And I missed that memo. I missed that one. I missed where babies were getting sickened, bacteria infections from drinking formula. We missed that memo. And they were told to stop and halt production. We missed that memo. We missed that memo that way back in January, they were talking about there were going to be baby formula shortages. I wonder how we missed that memo. I wonder how we missed that memo. When you say people voted them in, what does that mean? Gigi son. I want to know what that means. Are you saying people voted them in as in Black people? Because it wasn't just all Black people. Did they go after the Black people? Yes, they did. But when you say people, let's be a little bit more specific. Are you meaning Black people? Because, we the minority here. There's a whole bunch of, and still a whole bunch of other nations that supported and support that administration. And there's a whole lot of Black people, quote unquote, that didn't have nothing to do with that whatsoever. Nothing. It says some babies died because of the formula. I'd have to look that up because I haven't been able to see that. I haven't been able to see that as of yet because I wanted to know. My baby's been on formula. I know a lot of babies been on formula. Not to say that they haven't, but I didn't see that part. I just know that they halted production. I mean, that should have been mainstream media, like all over the places. Y'all don't give y'all babies this milk because this baby has caused these people are these families to get sickened. That should have been on mainstream media, not what the heck is going on in Ukraine. That should have been top priority. But now, we started noticing the shortage like in January. And the stores didn't even know about the shortages. They were like, we just haven't gotten it in. And because you guys know that we have twins, they were drinking that kind that they have for those that are born early. So we were starting to notice. We go in and we usually buy 2 cans or 3 cans or 4 cans, just depending on how much we want to go to the store. If we just trying to get all the cans for the week, then that's how we do it. But we started noticing that there was like 2 cans, and then you have to go back the next day and try to find another can way back in January. Even so much so that I had to have a friend in California go look for baby food and baby milk way back in January. But now there's absolutely nothing on the shelves. The milk that is on the shelves, don't nobody want to buy that one for some reason. That's fully stocked. Everything else is gone, literally. And then now all of a sudden we're going to have this back up and running in 2 weeks. But they reported on the news that this shortage problem may not go away until the end of 2022. And I have that photo. Actually, our babies just came off of formula. So we pulled them off like, okay, that means that's the end. But if there is anybody that needs formula, we have a I need you to tell me if you're a sister or a brother, and I'm sorry, but I don't know how to determine that according to your YouTube name. But we have a brethren, that's what I'll say, that is willing to assist with formula, has formula in their area. So if you have a young baby that needs formula, then Sister Catherine, then definitely connect with Black Pride or let me know, and then I can connect you guys somehow. And for Sister Catherine, they are price gouging on Amazon. I heard that they were selling formula for $120 on Amazon. So I haven't tried it. I've taken Sister. Okay, so she's a sister that wants to assist for anyone who needs formula. I want to hear your thoughts. You guys want to come over here on Clubhouse? Come up to the stage. I want to hear your thoughts about this. And we can't just have thoughts. We got to have solutions. We can't just have thoughts. We got to have solutions. What is the solution to this? Because I think about this. Had we had those that was able to police our own communities and make sure nothing like this ever happens. I mean, if you got to stand, we should have some people outside, policing our communities and our people. Because at the end of the day, nobody else is doing it. Nobody else is doing it. And that's a problem. We can sit up here and talk about all we're going to do, all we want to. And nothing ever gets done. And then something else happens. Like, today I had to just have a sobering moment. Like, a couple of years ago when Barack Obama was in office, we had this quote unquote white boy who was not going to get the death penalty go into a church and sit with them, quote unquote, and kill them. I mean, Mississippi burning. I mean, Tulsa, Oklahoma, y'all. Like, it's happened then and it's happening now. So what solutions? Not which march we finna go. I will, sis. Email me. Email me your email so I have your email. And let me put it across the screen so you can see it. But if anybody lets me know, I would definitely hit you up, sis. That's a blessing. And may the Most High bless you abundantly for wanting to be a blessing to those that are in need. Please check chat. Okay, let me see. Give me 1 second, y'all, because my volume went down. Okay. Let me see why my volume has gone down. Uh-oh. I think I done did something because now I don't even know how to get out of this. But can you guys hear me now? Let me know, sis. I just turned my volume back up. I tried to check the chat and then okay, yes, ma'am. I think now I got back to it. Ooh, I got 32 chats over there. Y'all come on up to the stage. Let us hear your thoughts or your wisdom. You can be incognito if you want to. You can be very discreet. Um, can you guys hear me now over here on Sister Melisha? Can you inbox me on Facebook Messenger? I did hear about the shooting in California. I have not heard about the shooting in LA Marketplace. When I tell y'all these are STAGED, I sound clear, I'm just low. Okay. How about now? I've repositioned the phone. Hopefully not. I may have to bring you up and make you moderator and probably leave out if I don't get louder. It's like when you first started and you fixed. Maybe when you were talking, it went down. Okay, can I bring you up? Can you come up and just moderate for me real quick? I'll get out of here and then come back in. Hopefully, if I know how to do that. Okay. I added you now. Let me see how to make you the moderator. Oh yeah.
Wait, you just came back loud now.
I did.
Yes. Wow.
Can everybody else hear me? Pretty good. Flick your mics, and how you flick your mic is just tapping on it. If you can hear me, I'm loud and I'm clear. Just flick your mics, and I'll see it. See your mics flicking, and I'll know that you guys can hear me. At least good enough, anyway.
If you see tier 7, that was weird. It was.
Okay.
I don't know what happened.
All right. I'm glad I'm good. I'm not going to hold y'all too long, but I do want to hear y'all. I want to hear what y'all got to say. Like, we need some solutions. We need a lot of work within. And we've been kind of conditioned to look without, like as if these people are going to help us. They're not. And when I said these people are going to help us, I'm not talking about Caucasian people. I'm talking about the powers that be and have been, that have been controlling and suppressing and manipulating and plotting and killing and destroying us. That is what I'm talking about. Go ahead. I think Tier, did you want to say something, Sister Melisha? The mental health. This stuff is just trauma, and then we wonder why we moving through life traumatized. Like PSTD is not just something that you get from going to war. It's something you get from being traumatized. And we just try to mask it and put clothes on it and jewelry and rims and all of this other stuff to try to make us feel good outwardly on something that has traumatized us and plagued our culture, our nation for generations. You think about it. Our history starts with slavery. That's where our history starts with. It's just that's what they give us.
Exactly. And the main thing that I'm realizing, Dr. Tawana, is that we need to stop letting people control our thoughts and make us think we're crazy.
Yeah.
Because this term, when you're talking about what conspiracy theory,
yeah,
they take that, they label people, and then people think that they don't have a voice, that they're crazy for what they're thinking. Like what I'm seeing, I'm gaslighting. You gaslighted a whole culture of people.
Yeah.
You're not crazy for what you're seeing. It's happening. And then you go talk to your family about it. And when they don't agree, because they're, all the other stuff going on with the media, you think that you're isolated. I think the more we get together like this and not be shut down because they're good at shutting things down like this, we'll have more traction and stop speaking. You're not crazy.
Yes.
You're not making it up. This is happening to you. And the reason why the trauma is so prevalent is because people start becoming quiet, and now you are going crazy.
Yep.
In your own thoughts, and they like to isolate us and make us feel like Looney Tunes.
Yes.
So we need to come together like this and have these conversations, and people need to stop being scared to talk about what's happening, because people are out here trying to kill your thoughts, your mind, and your children.
Yes.
And it is a target against a specific race of people, and that's been going on since we've been here. So we can't just act like it's not happening. And us saying that that's happening does not mean that we're pitting ourselves against anyone.
Yes.
Because we know that it's spiritual, but it's true. It's happening.
Yes. I want to share something with you all, because if you notice, like every time we talk about these topics, I usually find myself saying, and this is not against white people. This is just me addressing my people. Why do I even got to say that? Like, why do I even have to tiptoe around or even explain or justify when any other race want to do something for their people? They don't have to tell us brown people that we're just doing this because we love our, we're trying to help our people. They don't have to do that. But it has been so badly programmed into us that we feel like we got to give an explanation of why we're trying to help our people. I had to realize that within myself today. The Holy Spirit had to show me that today, that you don't have to make an apology for wanting to help your people. And then another thing that was revealed to me on yesterday is this. This is a part of a control tactic, because yesterday, as I was thinking about how they label you as a theorist, that word, how they label us as those when we start speaking against the narrative. So if I go and I tell somebody that looks like me, hey, you might don't, the way that God wired our bodies, they can heal itself. Like, we depend too much on pharmaceuticals, man-made things that does not heal, but actually just suppresses. I'm a conspiracy theorist if I say, look what they did in what you call that, Tuskegee. Look what they did there. If I go and say, like, I have no other reason to be cautious because of what has happened in times past. But if I start sharing that, right, now I'm a conspiracy theorist. How am I a conspiracy theorist? And I'm just telling truth that's on Google. How does that make me a conspiracy theorist? Because I'm telling history. Something that these same people can go on Google and look up, but I'm a conspiracy theorist. We got to think like that. What I said was the truth. Oh, if you write it on Google, it's cool. But if I repeat what has been written on Google as history, then I'm spreading disinformation. That's not cool. And we will have more conversations like this because it's needed. We need to let our people, and I've been doing a whole bunch of research, you guys, and I know where this comes from. When they had like isolation towns, and when they had like, atrocities that was happening if you get caught after sundown laws and all of this stuff, it made our people very afraid to speak. Very afraid to speak. Very afraid to speak. They spent the majority of their life hiding. And you see something and say something, will kill you. It's been embedded in the DNA. And life is in the blood. So when they, even though they may not have, had those thoughts raising their children, it's in the DNA, it's in the genetics, it's in the blood. They have hidden for so long, and I'm starting to do a lot of research about just how bad it has been and why it needs to change now. All right, Tier, you up?
Yeah, thanks for the invite up. Fear and playing off of emotions is the biggest aspect of control that they use by playing off emotions.
Yeah,
they show the violence of mass shootings all over the country week by week. They show these rappers getting indicted and arrested.
Mm-hmm.
They show a variety of things in the news. They show war overseas. And all it's doing is mentally mind screwing you.
Yeah.
To be afraid. And once you're afraid, it's easier to control you.
Yeah.
For example, if you whoop a child, they're going to listen to you after that.
Yeah.
So once you put fear in people's mind, I don't care if it's just a little bit. It only takes a little bit to be able to control somebody's mind after you show them something that they might fear a little bit. Going back to the baby formula, I know you're probably on YouTube and Facebook and things of that nature, so I won't say the people's name, but these people are invested in artificial breast milk.
Yeah.
And what do you think that's involved with this artificial breast milk? It's this mRNA technology that they just been trying to push into everything.
Yep.
So they're going to figure out a way to try to force these kids to be manipulated and to be poisoned with this technology that they can use them later down the line anytime they want to.
You are absolutely correct. Yes, I want to share something with you. I just saw that during this whole baby formula shortage, Mr. You-know-who pops up and say, well, this is why we have been planning for this, and that artificial formula. I'm like, what in very, very accurate what brother is saying right now, because that's the next step. Since there's a shortage of that, we have this available. Go ahead. I just wanted to share that. I just screenshot that the other day about him coming to the scene, and they asking questions, since there isn't any, what's the next step? And that was the next step for him. That's his best plan, that we got this fake stuff over here. You want to share anything else? You can come off me.
Oh, no, that was it.
Okay, thank you so very much. I really, truly appreciate it. All right, Brother Reggie. Did you want to speak, Brother Reggie? I see you put yourself down below. But if anybody would like to share anything, you can. Go ahead, Sister Danielle. Yeah, you can. If you let's see if I can invite to speak.
Hi, anybody can hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Basically, what I've seen going on is not cool, and my thing is systematically, yes, it's been embedded in us through our people to easily hate one another. Because I did my research. Why is it so hateful? I'm 37, and it's been different. And I was born in an era where it was jacked up things, a lot of turmoil, but it was still love there. It was still cultivated. I still got a hold on to good people and good luck in a messed up situation. And as I was doing my research, what's going on right now is basically a lot of people is not using their spiritual eye. And yes, God is waking everyone up, but slowly. Like, a watcher. I'm an end watcher. I can know things, to see things, to know certain things. I got all these stories. I didn't go looking for these stories. It was like given to me. And when I heard, I was telling my friend yesterday, I got to see a picture of this. I just don't believe this is a setup. Like they're implanting these people in these neighborhoods to start up because they know we are emotion. We go by emotion. And I have learned when you are on emotion, you cannot think like you're not thinking like you. And what I saw, I got the picture. My friend hit me back with the picture like of him going in there. And what I saw, it seemed like he was nervous. Like, and he told someone, "Oh, I'm sorry, I saw that part." And that didn't strike well to me. And then for him to come out and lay himself down on the ground, how do you know this makes the person that's mentally ill and don't know, they're being air waving the gun still because they don't know what they just did. That wasn't a person that seen that did not know what they did. And all I can say is we are around these times for a reason because I believe we are supposed to come together, but everybody have a role and an instrument. My instrument is who I am, my voice, my thoughts. This can change. Like we can change this environment. We can stop this, but we got to be on one accord. And if anybody don't know how to tap in to that spirit, I'm not talking about crystal. I'm talking about God Himself that's given us the divine power to create a different situation. We can control the atmosphere, but they keep firing us with negativity. If you feed negativity, you're going to get a vibration of negativity. But if you feed positive, yes, the atmosphere will change. And where we are right now, it's very scary. And I'm 37. I'm not scared because I understand. But for those that are waking up and don't understand, we're in a lawless land right now. And no one is abiding what God said to do. And I'm just getting back in, meaning I was out there doing my thing, but I had an ear to hear what God wanted me to do. And the time that we were going through what was going through, He was drawing me near so I can get the information I need to succeed. Like I don't have because everything is a drill. And once I found that out, because how they keep going on, giving us skits, like giving us this, giving us this, giving us this. And now we're going to look up, they're going to clean off the money, they're going to take all away the food. How else would you participate in this system? So that saying is, oh, it's going to come a time when we're really going to be in the mountains, like God said, because we're not going to allow them to manipulate us to come out, to take whatever they got to give. Like, for one, a lot of elders were scared, and they taught us how to look at and how to deal with white people, meaning don't be disrespectful. But how many times we got to keep hearing our loved ones, get killed in the street? I'm tired of turning the other cheek. I don't think God wants to turn the other cheek. Why would He fight it in the Bible? Like this is that way of thinking ain't working. I don't want to go march no more. I don't want to go sing Kumbaya. That ain't working. But I do know what works. An eye for an eye. Anything necessary. And that's the thing that Martin Luther King got killed for that people don't understand. He got killed. We got left with a dream. Something ain't right. Something ain't adding up. And I'm 37. So it ain't just that I'm hateful. I'm tired of seeing this. And every other race, like the Korean people, I watched them do a law quickly. I'm from Los Angeles, the heart of the heart. So it ain't like it's a figment of imagination. I think we need to come together, not no Black Panther like New Purists or nothing like that, but let's do more strategic strategy thinking where we can overcome by using any means necessary, not kumbaya no more.
Awesome. Yes, yes, and yes. I absolutely agree. I believe that we need to be educated and we need to be empowered and we need to be able to believe. We need healing, we need restoration, but I'm one of the ones that absolutely know. First and foremost, we need to come together in unity. And there ain't a lot of unity in our community. There's not. You can have on a different suit and somebody that look like you will hate on you because your suit look like this. It's the dumbest stuff. I never forget when I never forget when I was promoting, like, hey, I got some information that I want to share with y'all. Get y'all out of poverty. I'm here to help. It's like, oh, well, look at your makeup. It's like the dumbest of the dumbest. And I have tough skin for it. But that was just the dumbest of the dumbest. You missed the whole entire message that I can help you looking at my makeup as if my makeup is supposed to look the way you want my makeup to look. Let's get past that type of stuff. Let's get beyond that type of stupidity. That is definitely stupidity. And that has been the agenda the whole time, to divide, because whatever is divided can be conquered. So I absolutely agree. We do need to continue to stay in the Lord's face because He's the only one that could help us. Now, an eye for an eye, what is that going to do? End up in bloodshed, like literally. And no, that ain't turning the other cheek. I'm not saying turn the other cheek and just like keep on allowing this to happen and happen, because if we stood up today and we took our dollars out of their system, it'll hurt them real bad. It'll hurt them real bad. If you see how much we the people spend on a monthly basis, it'll hurt them real bad. See, we don't believe enough to do those type of things. It's like, no, I need to go to work. If we say, no, we ain't going to go to work, we're going to peacefully protest. We're going to protest with the things that hurt y'all, which is money. Y'all need our labor. Y'all need us spending. And that's why they don't mind giving us a little bit of it. It's like, y'all going to spend it right back. They're going to spend it right back. I go into comments, especially when things happen to minority people, and I watch the comments. And that's the first thing that's in the comments. If they out there marching, take their EBT from them, they'll go home. And it'll piss me off, but it's true. It's facts. Give them a stimulus check, they'll stop. And that has been the narrative. We're just going to fight for a little bit, and then we just going to go back home, and everything's going to be okay. And we just going to keep on letting this happen. And the sad part about it is we don't believe enough in us to be successful. We believe enough in them who believes enough in us that we are successful. That's why they utilize us. But we don't believe enough in us. I can't start that. I can't do that. I didn't have nobody to show me how to do that. My parents wasn't like that. We got all the excuses in the whole entire world. And the only reason why they doing it is because we allowed them.
How do we mobilize to do different? Because it's like we're working against we're working against literally 400 years of depression, mentally and physically. And I know, like, all that you said, it makes sense. Like, thank you for being so wise. Because I was like, I'm just tired of sitting here watching it. But how do you mobilize a people that have been suppressed so long when the hatred has been turned against us? Because when our brother and sister was hanging, they weren't looking at the people that manipulated to put you on a tree. They looking at us while they get hung. Like, all this is spiritually, like, embedded in our people.
So how we get mobilized is how we coming together right now. It's education first. It's identifying that we got a problem. Yes, we allow them to do it, but we can undo it together. That we got a problem. That we need to come together. First of all, that's the first thing. We need to eradicate the spirit of fear. Do you know how they was able to trick all them people into doing what they just did over the last year? Fear. I mean, it was everywhere on the TV. A lot of people didn't even feel comfortable doing that, especially a lot of people that look like us didn't even feel comfortable doing that. But it's like, I seen it for myself. They like, I'm a single mother of 2 children. I can't afford to not go to work. So I just got to do what I got to do. Because it's like, we'll take your jobs. They know they got us by the balls, excuse my language, because we ain't got no feet to stand on, no legs to stand on. Financially, monetarily, we don't have no backbone to say, screw y'all. It's our tax dollars that fund these folks that go, yeah, it's our tax dollars. And the sad part about it is, you do have leaders and people out here working in the laboring in the fields. It's like, come on, you guys, look, this is what it is, and this is what we need to do. The reason why I go the route that I go to is because everything else that we didn't try has not worked to this date. And the one thing that I noticed that we have not tried is to hit them where it hurt in their pockets.
Oh, you're right. Like the boycott with the buses.
That's right.
Back in the day.
That stopped their revenue.
Yes.
That stopped their revenue.
How quickly they wanted to migrate, but they lost a lot of money. And I noticed we did get changed. We were able to get on the front of the bus after that. That's
right. That's the problem. We too embedded into their system. So if we get out there and we be like, oh, okay, we're going to do this, they be like, okay, well, I'm turning that off and kicking you out of Section 8 low income housing. And I'm going to take you off of this stuff. Like, no, we got our own, like, period. I'm going to let Brother Ricky take the mic real quick. Hey, how you doing, brother?
Good. You know, I agree with everything you say. I think that the whole racism thing, you know, that's so far embedded in between everybody that, you know, I mean, I've had brown, black friends since I was a kid, a young kid, you know, going to school, and they were always good friends, you know, and I never really did understand it, and then I went to prison, and it was totally different in there, whether you wanted to be a certain way or not. I found out real quick that even though I had, you know, brown, black friends in the free world, when I went in there, you know, it just wasn't the same. That's all that place is about. You know, you have to stick to race, you have to do this or you have to do that, or else, you know, you have to live this crazy life in there. And, you know, it's just one of those things that I think that they've driven so much between everybody that people just don't wake up and realize, like, hey, you know, we're not on Earth to sit here and worry about what color everybody is.
Right.
That ain't got nothing to do with it. If y'all ain't figured that out, then I kind of like maybe they don't really know Jesus, or they don't know the Lord, or they don't have that higher power, because I think if you do, then you have to know that there is no color in any of us.
That's right.
We're all made all breathe the same, all have the same blood. I mean, and now, I mean, I cut the TV out at my house just because I don't believe in any of the kids shows, the stuff that they have on TV now for kids. And all stuff, and then you just watch this stuff on TV, and like you said, you know, that's all they're going to show you is stuff that they want you to see, stuff to keep your mind preoccupied, a bunch of trash, instead of actually trying to find out the truth about things, and, you know, finding out about the world and what's going on really in the world, and you know, what we're actually here for. I don't think we're here to do all the stuff that they say we're here to do, you know. But unfortunately, in this day and age, the way they've molded it, the way they've shaped it, you know, it's, you know, I was in Walmart today getting an eye exam, and there's a guy that works there still to this day. He was my manager when I started working there when I was 16 years old. And I was talking to him and another lady about his age. I'm 44, so they're probably in their mid-50s. And they had no clue who the World Health Organization was. And they had no clue that on May 22nd, they're going to have this international vote that could possibly, I mean, the world is beat up. I mean, there's a lot of people that don't really even know anything about it, and how, if they pass these bills, they already have, like, I think they'll basically take control of 90-something% of the world, of all the countries and everything, because, with Biden passing this bill, everybody in NATO signed up on it,
Yep.
And it's kind of crazy to think that, because they're essentially saying that if they find out, or if they do that, then the World Health Organization can come in and say, oh, well, there's a virus. Guess what? Y'all are all on lockdown like China.
That's right.
And it doesn't matter who we elect as the president, because at the end of the day, he's not going to have a say-so in it.
Right.
The World Health Organization will be the one that says that.
Yeah.
And they're also, and that part of that is that if you own any land and there's water on that land, that water is going to become federal property or something like that. And then the World Health Organization is going to control this. And then essentially, land and essentially telling there's water on it so that you can about that.
You went really choppy. We heard you say, they said farmland, if you own water, then it just got super choppy.
Okay, is it better now?
Yep, it is.
Yeah, so they said that they got something in there as well that says that if you have any kind of water on your property, such as, like, let's say, for instance, you had a 10-acre piece of property and you got a 2-acre pond out there. Well, because you have water on that property, they can now seize that property and make it federal property. That's one of the things that they would be able to control through that same bill as well.
Wow. That's what I'm saying. This is exactly what I'm saying here on tonight. Okay. I want to bring this, since Brother Ricky said that, I want to say this. So if you go back and look at who took out Malcolm X, if you go back and you look at who took out Martin Luther King, if you go back and you look at who took out, I'm not talking about color. I'm talking about what is now revealed, who was the actual people. You got 3 letters. C-I, put the other one to the end, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
It was them that did these exercises while they were painting the narrative that white people did it. But it was the gangsters with the 3 letters. FB, put the other one. CI, put the other one.
You know what's crazy, Dr. Tawana, is that they actually tell us this.
Yes.
They show us this and stuff because that's part of their thing. They have to show them.
That's right.
They have to show it.
Yeah. It's all coming out now that that's who was behind these killings, even the Tulsa, Oklahoma massacre.
Yeah.
Like even Mississippi burning, even the lynchings of, of the South. These were spiritual wickedness in heavenly places. And I do want to make mention that I'm one of those that we were all created as a human race, which gives no man authority over the other, which lets us know if that's not how we were created, there's a work in place to divide and conquer, or to overcome what was originally instituted. Because if the Most High God didn't create us that way, how did we get here? And who is behind it? For hundreds of years, we have been looking at the wrong people, because that is what we have been taught. Yes, they have been people of different nationalities, but we're focusing on what these people of different nationalities. That's why I'm having this conversation with y'all on tonight about this Buffalo, New York. Okay? We need to see deeper into what is happening so that we can come together as a human race. But we need to heal within our community, because we have not only let them divide us against others, we have allowed them to divide us against ourselves. And this is the trick. If we don't have money like they have, then we can't play games like they play. And so when we are able to become self-sufficient upon one another and get back to how it was before this plan came into place, because that's the only way we're going to survive, whether we believe that or not. This stuff ain't finna get no better. We're going to have to learn how to rely and get along and even live off of one another, because that's what's coming. And while they got us distracted, another thing I wanted to say was with this plan that's getting ready to happen on the 22nd, if they can keep us focused on what's happening in Chicago, what's happening with Buffalo, it was a reason why that happened. So we can be focused on that and not actively participating in warfare. I know what Sister Danielle said a minute ago, like, how do we immobilize? I'm straight up a kingdom warrior, and I done seen some devils fall completely down, okay? Just for standing in intercessory prayer. That is most importantly, that we are on our faces, dismantling this thing. I don't care. You got to send a dust storm. Let everything malfunction. Let it not come to pass, because we have that authority to do so. Because with that comes everything else that they are preparing the stage for. This is a stage. And every little piece must be in order for them to continue on. They tell us themselves. I'm not saying nothing that they haven't said. It's called Agenda 2030. Remember, it was supposed to be Agenda 21, year 2021. Now they didn't push it back a little bit to Agenda 30. And now they said that we need to accelerate Agenda 30. So that's why I'm here. We're not going to take the time to fight one another and be distracted. Now is the time to be unified, solidified, and now is the time to be in agreement. Now is the time to be discernful. Now is the time to be on our faces in prayer. In prayer. Asking.
When you do that, because I watched one of your videos when I watched you tell the storm to leave. And I know everybody has that power. And the other night, I had a dream of missiles going off in LA. And I just couldn't believe that my aunt was upset with me. And I thought about, why are you upset? We got missiles going in the air. And I woke up and I prayed about it. But that right there, I know I can change it because I prayed about it. But at the end of the day, I know I can't stop it, because I know a lot of wicked people is out and about. And I'm so happy that we have another insight with Mr. Ricky. Like all this information is very great, but I want to know, do I got to do a Daniel fast? Because I do want it to change. It has to change. I mean, but I want to know, do I fast? I smoke cigarettes, so I can put stuff away to make stuff moving.
So this is the thing. We all should be fasting. We all should live a lifestyle of fasting. We really should. We really should take, it takes an hour, sacrifice a meal. We ain't gonna die. Hold on one second, y'all. It be these people right here.
Bottom line is we need to support each other. We just need to have each other's back, because the way the algorithm is set up, it's set up not in our favor.
Yep.
And we have to create our own algorithm by supporting one another. And that's the best way, whether it's helping one another quit smoking, live a healthier lifestyle, be financially more stable, all of these things. That's what support is.
Yes.
Once we start supporting one another in every aspect of life, then you'll see a drastic change in a lot of different things.
Absolutely.
I mean, we're speaking on this shooting in Buffalo, New York, but at the same time, have you guys took a deep dive in the Oklahoma City bombing a while back, like in the 90s?
I'm getting there. I just watched about Mississippi burning and some other small towns, you know, that we ain't never even heard about. But I'm getting to Timothy McVeigh, the Oklahoma City bombings.
I actually remember watching that on the news as a young, you know, kid, and that was some crazy stuff. But I've actually done a lot of research on that and a few other things, and yeah, there's a lot of crazy things going on in the world, and I think that their main goal is to really, if you look at it like this, it's the way I kind of see it. If you confuse everybody and you don't let people really know or really believe in God, because you come up with all these different religions and all this different stuff instead of having people actually just have a connection with the Lord and not worry about what church they're going to, or if it's this Sunday, or if they're going on Wednesdays as well, or if they're doing this. Because you know if your relationship is good with God. I've seen things as a young person, 17 years old, in church that I would have never thought in a million years I could see. So I know He's real. But I think that people that don't have that connection with the Lord and are shown nothing but evil stuff and nothing but, you know, just things, it's like them saying that we're spinning through this earth and, you know, all this stuff. Well, if it gives you no meaning, then they've accomplished what they wanted to. And now you have no meaning. You're just on earth and you're like, well, you know, I'm not rich and I'm not doing that good. So am I even supposed to be here? You know, like, I think that they use us with that and make it seem like there is no real God. And if you do believe in Him, well, you're just a churchgoer. And if you don't, well, then you're probably, you know, whatever. But if they do that, well, then nobody is really sitting there thinking to themselves, hey, if I have a relationship with the Lord and I do like what the Bible says, I wouldn't have time to worry about, do I have the biggest house? I wouldn't have time to worry about, do I have this truck over here? We'd probably all still be farmers living right next to each other and enjoying each other's company and doing what the Lord said, and not out there doing all this crazy stuff and living like the devil wants us to live. And I think that in itself is a lot of the reason things are the way they are.
I absolutely, I will say this, you know, I will absolutely say this right here. This has been scripted, plotted for hundreds and hundreds of years.
200 years.
Yes, for hundreds and hundreds of years. You know,
yeah, that's what I said.
It's a script, you know what I'm saying? And it's time to come out of the matrix. That's all I can say. It's like, it's time to come out of the matrix. But I'm educating myself. I'm enlightening myself. You are absolutely right. You know, if we wasn't worried, that's the type of stuff that they got us captivated on. Worrying about who got this, who shot John, who did this, who did that. You know, that's what they got us discombobulated with, and that's why we don't have the energy or the time to really put it to where it needs to be. So I absolutely agree.
I mean, you don't get one. I just feel like we just need to go back to our old ways and separate from the white people, because it's like we really don't need them. They need us. It's like we built this country. We didn't get $1, but when Ukraine going through some shit, they can say Ukraine like $100 billion, but the black people here who built this country, it's like we don't even get $1. We don't get laws passed. We don't get like no political power. That's why I said it's like a whole strategic plan, like over 400 years, like the system failed us. Obama failed us. Bush failed us. Every president has failed us. Every governor has failed us. Like, this is a whole systematically built system that was made to keep the black man and the black woman down. It's like they give us Black History Month, but I never heard of like Black Future Month, like Black Progressive Month. So it's just like the junk they give us will never be like to benefit us and shit. So it's like, if you got white boys shooting up like schools and grocery stores, like I really don't blame them, because it's like even the president's racist. So it's like, how can you really blame an 18-year-old white brother for our own presence? It's like it's racist. So it's like the system will never change. We're gonna keep dying unless we really get our own land and break away from the system. That's how I feel.
Well, I'm glad you shared your thoughts. Everybody's thoughts is welcome here. I just want to say this to you, my young brother.
Yeah, we gotta separate ourselves from them, bro. We don't need them. They need us.
Listen. This is the thing about it.
That's another story.
Yeah, this is the thing about it, though. Let me tell you. That's the narrative that they have pushed. Can I be honest with you? And I just got to be honest with everybody. What my own people didn't help me. It was white people that helped me.
Now, don't say that. They ain't help you.
Yeah, they helped me. Like,
helped you with what?
Straight up. No, I don't even got a college degree. That's something that I don't even have. I didn't want to go to college and be bamboozled.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but it's not about helping you. It's helping the whole nation. It's about white people help me. What did they do for the whole race? Though? They gave us all 40 acres in the future.
So when you say white people,
that's not 40 million people.
I'm sure everybody on this line has been helped by white people. See, when you say white people, you got to bring it to who it really belongs to.
White people.
I think he means the structure of that.
So that got to be clarified. That got to be clarified. That's not all white people. That's the white people who have done this.
Who benefit from young bad white people. You can say all white people not bad, but they still benefit from the system that was put in place by racist white men who broke the Constitution.
They do. So let me.
So you can disagree with it, but that's facts. They was all George Washington had slaves.
Yeah, they did, but yeah. It's not that I'm disagreeing, and I want us to be able to talk. You know what I'm saying, and have a logical conversation. I want to ask you, since you say that, I want to ask you, how did we get here? You mentioned the 400 years, but how did we get here? How did our oppressors act? No. How did we get to even being slaves?
How did we get to being slaves? The Africans sold us to the white people, then the white people.
You need to stop listening to their story.
Wait. Hold on, y'all, because we just have an education session right now. So the black people sold us to the white people, but why did we even end up getting into being sold by the black people to the white people? Why?
We don't know God's commandment.
No, I want him to say. I want to see if he knows. That's who I'm talking to, McKeesey. How did we get here?
I don't know too much about that, but all I know that
see, you but that's not. I can sit up here and say that that's cool for you to say that because you don't know the whole narrative. You can't take a piece of the story and not know the whole story. How did we get here? We were some of the most successfulest people on planet Earth. How did we get to even be? How did we even get into bondage? How did we? I want to know, because if we're telling a story, we got to tell the whole story. I know I'm gonna definitely enlighten you, but if we're gonna tell a story, we got to tell the whole story. How we got here is through sin and disobedience. That's how we got here. That was the curse. That I will give you over to your oppressors, because when I wanted to give you something, you didn't take it. You kept whoring around and going after other idols and other deities. And what I gave to you, you didn't want. So I allowed you to become oppressed for 400 years. That's how we got here.
I agree with that, but that just sounds like this. Like it do sound like it's a deeper reason, like why we the only nations live on.
That's right. It's a punishment. That's a punishment. So if we want to break the punishment, now let me ask you and enlighten you on this. If somebody put a curse on you, who can take the curse off of you?
The guy who put it on us.
The God who put it on us. How many of us really want to repent to that God who put it on us?
Not a lot of people.
Okay, why? Because we want to do everything else. We want to believe in the sage. We want to believe in everything. We want to believe in the science. We looking for them to bail us out. You know what I'm saying? We looking for the very oppressors to bail us out. So if we don't want to repent, because this is what the word say: if my people who are called by my name will humble themselves, turn from their sins and turn from their sins and seek my face, then I will heal the land. How many of us have actually wanted to repent?
Not a lot.
Not a lot. So why do you think we still oppressed? See, God said he gonna deal with the oppressors because I gave them permission to oppress you, to teach you a lesson, to teach you that when I tried to be your God and you be my people, you didn't want that. I told you certain things to do. I told you certain things to stay away from. I told you certain things that you shouldn't intertwine in. You did it anyway, and that was the punishment. And that's why we went into captivity. So if we're going to be angry, we need to be angry at ourselves first. Because still to this day, we want to trust in everything else. And we want to go after everything else. See, the pain and suffering is to get us to do what? To learn and to return. To learn and to return. To learn and to return back to the former things, back to what he told us originally. He said, if you do these things, then you'll be blessed. And if you don't do them, then you will be what? Cursed.
Exactly.
So that's the problem, my brother. That's the problem. And we want to be mad at them for doing what they did. But at the end of the day, if we as a nation of people repent, all of this can go away. I done said it over and over again. You know how many people I say, y'all want to come together and cry out? Because that's what we need to do. We need to repent. You know how many people really want to do that? None. Maybe 2 or 3. They want to make money. They want to believe in science. They want to trust in mainstream media. They want to watch CNN and NSBC. They want to do the whole 9 yards. But what they don't want to do is repent. They do not want to repent. And that's why we're in that situation. Look, check this out. When the stuff first broke out in 2020, when the stuff first broke out, do you know that the way our blood system is set up? And trust me, I didn't research this. Type O positive blood was not being infected with this junk. You know what our people was doing in the middle of that? Lining up for Jordan shoes in the middle of that. Still in gambling houses, still drinking and turning up for the camera, like packed like sardines. It was just destined. I mean, like y'all didn't have the poorest meals, the poorest food, poorest communities. It was just destined to take out as many people as it did. Especially though, but we cannot blame them. We got to go within, and that's why these conversations are necessary, because we got to look within. We need to heal ourselves. Now, you know what pisses me off, and I got to be real with y'all. We sitting up here and we want to jump on the bandwagon and we want to go crazy on the Caucasians. You know, we want to do that. But what about when our own kill our own? We ain't making no noise for that. I just watched an old man in Atlanta. I just watched an old man in Atlanta go to his job, pull up at his job, light his cigarette, and somebody that looked like us blew his brains out, went in his pockets, and 4 people that was around him sat there and watched him and went in his pockets too, and we ain't made no uproar about that.
Yeah, that's sad. That's what I'm saying. We do, but that's a big problem with black crime. It's like at the end of the day, when a black man kills a black man, there's 2 black men going for police killings. Police get set free, though. But it's like at the end of the day, all that understand what you were saying, it was God using them.
That's right, to punish us. That's
because
right.
He either will come down and tell us to stop sinning, punish us for sinning, because what you're saying.
But let me tell you something about that God. What I have learned about that God, the same God that punished us, he let the first tribe go into bondage in Egypt for 400 years. And then he delivered them when they cried out. Every time we actually came to our senses and we cried out, he did respond. And he will respond. The problem is we too entertained and caught up in everything else that we ain't trying to cry out to him. We would rather say, no, that's too painful to cry out to you. It's easier for us to believe them. Let us get back to normal. And that's why we're seeing what we're seeing happening. When we cry out, we will shake this earth. When we cry out, we will shake the foundation. It'll be an earthquake in this earth if we cry out. We can stop all of this in our tracks if we cry out and repent and say we're sorry for being rebellious and hard-headed to you. We are sorry. We are sorry for killing our own kind. We are sorry for participating in things that you told us not to. We are sorry. When we get to that place, then the healer will heal our land. Oh, yes, he will. Oh, yes, he will. And I wasn't even trying to preach, but I get pumped up. I get stirred up because I had to go educate myself. Yeah, I had to go educate myself with that. That's right. We can stop all of this right now. I promise y'all. That's one thing I'm for certain. If we all, just all of us that's together, if we all came together and we said, you know what's happening? That's why I said we ain't mad enough. It's going to take for them to exterminate us in order for us to get on our knees and really cry out in unity. God hates the division. We got to get on our knees in unity, and we're going to have to cry out. And if you want to know how to stop these people, because you got to think about it, who runs the world? You got to think about who's sitting up in positions. Actually, it's not. No, it's not the white man's world. The earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. Where we get that from?
I'm saying though, but when you break it down, the people who rule the world, black people don't rule the world.
But we did.
Yeah, God made the world, but he gave them the wicked.
I think you're going off a race too much because there's really groups of people. It doesn't matter what color. It's a variety of different groups.
That's right.
People that are overseers. There's people that look just like you that's ruling these countries.
That's right. No, the earth ain't given to the wicked. The earth was given to the righteous. We're supposed to have dominion and subdue it. No, it says the kingdoms of this world has become the kingdoms of our Lord. That's what it says. No. We got to get educated. No,
we're all brothers and sisters working our way out of the curse. We don't run like black people we don't run nothing. Like, what do we run? Basketball? Rapping?
We don't even run basketball. We don't even have that. We don't have that. And I think that you're looking. But see, so think about it as this. That yes.
With the Lord.
Right.
That's real big. If we only worried about our relationship with the Lord, we wouldn't be able to worry about it if we had all these things, because we'd be living next to each other, doing what the Lord wanted, loving each other, and actually having a community that was built off of that and not off of the way they try to make it out in this world.
Because that's what he say, right? Ain't that what he say? We're supposed to love our brother as we love ourselves. But here's the thing. I'm going to say this, and then we're going to go ahead and jump off of here. I'm going to say this in closing. I'm not going to say we, but it sounds like. That's from your perspective. Yeah. That's from your perspective. You got to get educated about this thing, because that's from your persistent. That's from your perspective. But if you keep on looking, let me say this: if you keep on looking at the white man, you miss the real enemy. Okay, I'm gonna let you say what you need to say. If you keep looking at the white man, then you'll miss the real enemy. Yeah, it is.
Hey, Mikesky. So in the CIA department, right? Do you think there's black people in the CIA?
Yeah.
Do you think there's Asian people in the CIA?
Probably.
Do you think it's Hispanic people in the CIA? So listen, the CIA is manipulating a lot of the stuff that you see right now. For example, it was a reason why I brought up the Oklahoma City.
Yeah.
Through my research, what was really important in that bombing is what was in that building. And what was in that building, and what was in that building was infrastructure, real estate offices, documentation, all set up for a brand new urban community, which they were supposed to build in Oklahoma. And because they blew that up, it was a complete land grab. So they got funded to build this community, and they blew all the documentations up to cover it up. So they getting the insurance money off of it. So it's double dipping. You have to understand what's really going on out here. These people are geniuses when it comes to this stuff. It's not only white people. It's a group of all nationalities.
That's right.
Coming together to benefit.
That's right. You got black popes.
Right.
You got black popes. You got.
Say one?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Well, I just want to say this one thing. Mike Ski. Go look up the one place on Earth that all these countries, all these people we've been at war with, including Russia, China, Czechoslovakia, Germany. Go look up the one place on Earth that we all have I don't know what you would call it, a peace treaty. Just look. You'll find out a lot about how.
That's right.
This is just not, one or two people involved. This is not just this is something that was planned out, like Dr. Juan is saying, 400 years ago. And people don't even realize we're coming up on the 250-year mark. And they said at 250 years that
you're in the matrix.
Yeah, your phone going in and out again, brother.
But basically what he's saying is a lot of these treatments, a lot of these treaties and these documentations are coming to an end because they only last for so long. So what they're starting to do right now is they're starting to renew a lot of these documentations through fear and tactics and things of that nature. And they're basically tricking us into agreeing into these to renewing these treaties. Just like the Green Deal that Biden been talking about. That is totally against the people. If you really dig into it, because they tried that I think 30 or 40 years ago. The same exact plan.
Our sovereignty.
Yeah,
you know.
You really have to know the history. That's why they want to throw you off learning history.
I want to say this before I go, and I do gotta go because I gotta make dinner, y'all. I'm glad we can have. This is what I want to say. We got to be fully educated. We got to be fully educated, and it's not on anybody else for them to go do the research. It's on us to go do the research. I'm one of the ones who want to know, how did we get here, so I know how we get out. I also want to know who's behind all of this, so that I stop. Now, you talking to someone whose father was very racist. I was, even though my father was in prison and he hated. Yes, even though my father was in prison and hold on a second. Even though my father was a racist, he could not stand Caucasian, and I could not, and that's a shame, because that's what I'm saying. Well, that's your opinion, and I gotta respect that, okay? But I'm gonna say this: at least get yourself educated. At least know the whole story so you can make an informed decision. Okay. At least get the whole entire story, so that, okay, if your hatred is going to be for a reason, it's going to be for the whole reason, if that's the way you want to go. But I pray that when you go that way and you begin to research for yourself, because you got to know the whole story. If you're going to come with the great debate and this is it, and you're going to start making, this is statements and this is what it is, you got to know the whole entire moral of the story. You really do. Even though my father wasn't around me, it was in the DNA. So there were certain things that I picked up, even though he wasn't even in my household, that I picked up through the bloodline that I had to go educate myself about. That's what we're going to be accountable for. There is no room for us to have hate in our heart. There's no room for us to have hate in our heart. And anybody that's hateful, woe unto you, because you went along with the narrative. We're not here for those who want to stay in the matrix. We're here for those, and it's saddening to me to see our young people. This is what has been fed, and that's why we got to get out here, boots on the ground, and some will hear and some won't. But somebody told this young man that. He doesn't even know the whole moral of the story. He hasn't even done the whole research to make an informed decision. It's just, this is what it is. And that is sad. And that's why we need to come to the table, and we need to present facts and truth and education to the table like never before. Like never before. That's what I'm going to say. I thank you guys all for joining on tonight. For those that we see need prayer, pray for them. Because that's the type of stuff that's going to divide us and conquer us. If we don't know who the real enemy is, and we can take time looking at the fruits and not the tree, you'll never get to the root. You go back and you study all of this and who's been behind all of this and where it stems from. Satan himself, right out of that system called Roman Catholic. That's where a lot of this stuff comes from. A lot of it stems from. Even where the so-called son of perdition, Antichrist, is going to sit there. It's a lot of stuff that I'm not at liberty to say, but I will say this. We really need to educate ourselves. To be informed is to be empowered.
Can we pray for that young man?
We can.
Before we leave?
Absolutely.
Because I understand where he was coming from, but then again, I know the history. I have those same questions, and he needs prayer because he won't answers too. But God have to give him the.
You gotta want the answers. You gotta want them. You can't shut yourself down and say, "Okay, well, this is what it is, and it ain't no more." Like, you gotta be open. If I'm gonna come with a debate, I'm gonna make sure I know all my facts. You can't come with no debate, and you don't know all your facts. Because the first thing is, how did we get here? Period.
We was disobedient.
That's right, and we still is. It wasn't that we was disobedient. I'm not under that curse because I have been. Right, you know what I'm saying? It's the generation, it's the nation. But the thing about it is, we didn't just get here and then, it's just so evil. White people just put us in prison. Hell no. That's the thing about it. We want to always shift the blame. We got here 3-point blank because we was rebellious, and we still is. We still is rebellious. We still going after everything else but what we was commanded to, and that is the issue. But I appreciate y'all all showing up. Father, I do ask you that you would enlighten that young man's understanding, because that's dangerous. That's a dangerous mindset. But it's something that has been told. It is something that has been force-fed. It is something that has been taught, and it has been taught wrongly. And so I'm praying that his eyes of understanding be enlightened, and that the God of the whole entire earth and world and the Most High God would encounter him and give him the truth. That if we hate here in this earth, there ain't no way in the world we're going to ever be able to rule and reign together in the next life to come. There's, and I had to learn that for myself. And we can't just say it's white racist people. There's black prejudice people. There's Hispanic prejudice people. There's Asian prejudice people. That's something that was used as an instrument. And if you really want to talk about it, hell, you got black on black prejudice. You could go kill somebody, break in their house, steal their food, do them wrong, live with them, slander them, talk. Let's talk about that. We quick to talk about everything else. But if you really want to be technical about it, How can we be mad at them for doing what we do to each other? Now, he said, I saw that happen in Atlanta, but you wasn't outraged about that. Well, if black and black kill each other, it's two black men that had killed each other. Who gave us a legal right to kill anybody? Who? Nobody. Wrong is wrong. And you got in Chicago thousands of deaths happening in one whole month span. And you want to blow off on the narrative. Do I believe that that's wrong for anybody to kill? Absolutely. Do I see that organizations, but he's not understanding, why do the police get off? That's an organization. That's a brotherhood. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Also picked up, he didn't know the curse. Like, it's not just us, but we were under 4 years. I mean, each generation up to now. Before COVID hit, God was releasing us from that curse. He was calling us back to him. And
we didn't want him. We wanted science. Correct. We didn't want him. We wanted science, and we wanted Kamala, and we wanted Joe Biden. That's what we wanted. So, you know, like, seriously, that's right. And he's still saying to this day, come out from amongst them. We have an issue trusting him.
People believe that we are the truth. Like, he's telling us who we are. Oh God, he's telling us who we are, where we come from. And you're telling me until everybody collectively come together, we're going to continue to go through this?
I'm telling you that. I'm telling you that. And the reason why I'm telling you that is because the Most High God ain't coming back for no fingernail. And he sure ain't coming back for no hand over here. Well, it's just a one person over here, and it's just two people. I'm coming back for a whole entire body. I'm coming back for a whole entire bride. And until all y'all get it together, y'all all gonna suffer. Because I'm coming back for a bride and a body. I'm not coming back for no little match flame over here and a little prayer group over here and no little intercessory. We didn't all go into bondage that way. We all went into bondage. We all went into rebellion. So that's not going to cut it. And that's why it hasn't been cutting it. He has been protecting us individually. But when we want to see spiritual change, we going to have to come together as a body, because I'm only coming back for a body without a blot, a blemish, or a wrinkle, a body. And if I need everything in my body to work, including my eyeballs and my ears and my brain and my hands, and I need every aspect of my body, I can't just say, well, my finger is going to run my body. It doesn't work that way.
It's not good.
That's right. So I got to go, y'all. It got to be a body. We got to come together collectively and put the foolishness away. We got to come together collectively and be united, want to be united. Not just because we're in trouble and hardship, because he know that too. We got to want to be united. We got to want to be in unity. And until we, to that point, baby, it's going to be hell on earth. That's just period. Until we mad enough, then it's just going to be hell on earth. But I ain't a part of that number. You best believe me. I'm doing and going to continue to do what I need to do to be preserved. But when you talking about healing the land, healing the nation, healing the body, that's going to take a we thing and not a me thing. So he waiting on us. And if he don't, then he'll just keep on letting these devils chastise us. That's where he'll go. He just keep on letting these devils do what they doing. Until we cry out. It's a spiritual battle. This is a spiritual battle, and we want to fight a spiritual war physically. No, we need a spiritual force to fight a spiritual force. So until we line up and we repent to the only spiritual force that can dismantle any other spiritual force, it's going to be like this. That's what it's going to be. With that being said, Dr. Tawana, love y'all, and we're going to continue these conversations, okay? Make sure we're doing some work. We shouldn't be planning about what we're going to do next week. How can I solve a problem now? And that was a problem. We need some young men to be out here educating these. We need some other men to be out here educating these brothers. I'm most disturbed by that tonight. Out of all things, I'm most disturbed by that tonight. Because you don't know how many other mindsets are like that. And that's dangerous. Go ahead, brother.
I think he might have caught a bad signal.
They're playing.
Yeah, You're in a bad spot right now. It's like you're going in and out.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what I was saying was, I think it all comes back to how I was saying, like they keep Christ out things, and in doing so, the kids go to school these days and they just teach them a bunch of useless stuff that really doesn't teach them the history or anything that really happened, or any real events. And they don't. I just don't think they teach kids to learn anymore. They teach them, if anything, maybe to take a test, and if they're not good at that, well, then they don't really have anything for them.
Well, you know what they did teach us, brother? They taught us how to read enough to go research on our own. If y'all ain't gonna give us the truth in the schools, then I need to go. I want to know the truth. That's all I want to know is the truth. And with all this technology, it ain't hidden. They just know that there's people that will not read for whatever reason, whether they know how to read, whether they just barely slid through, but it's there. Look at how Brother Tier was saying, look, this was inside of that. Now, I knew a little bit of it, but not to the extent that he shared on today, which is going to cause me to do what? Go research some more. Because I want to be educated. I don't want to just take what some other man didn't say. I don't even do that church-wise. Because I want to know for myself. Let me read the word for myself. Let me read outside for myself. Let me research and see what it really is. And then let me pray and ask for discernment. What's true and what's fiction? What's a lie? What's false? That's how I read. I ain't got time to be entertained and so caught up on the money. Like at the end of the day, don't nobody got their foot on my neck. Do you know that the white people didn't let me and let millions of other people that look like me make millions of dollars? They ain't got their foot on our neck. That's the narrative they want us to believe. That's why I'm here to change the narrative. In the mindset, we can't get nothing. We can't get nothing. No, man, yes, you can. Get up off of your ass so you can stand up on your feet. Stop believing the narrative. And ass is biblical. That's just my slogan. Get up. Go do something. The value is in your vault. If you so mad at that system, why you keep bending over backwards to it, getting screwed with no grease on? If you've been given the power to get wealth, why is you trying to do something else? That's where I'm at with this. Like straight up. You want to change something, then do something. Don't be talking ain't gonna get us nowhere. It ain't got us nowhere this far. If you want to be the change, it starts with you. You trying to look for everybody else what to start with. It starts with you. First of all, get educated. Is that something they can never take from you? When you know what and if you're going to ever come to an argument or to a debate, are you going to ever, give a rebuttal? You got to just know all the facts.
He said it out of his own mouth. He didn't do the research on conversations that was going on. So
yeah.
That should tell you right there.
Right.
I mean, just in the recent events, anything that comes out, I do the research around it. I don't do the research into that exact thing. I do the research around it. Just for example, with the indictment of all of these rappers, I see the Biden administration with the lowest rating of all time.
Yep.
So now he came in calling himself or considering himself the enforcer as far as law enforcement, and now he's basically on track to clean up the streets in his administration to give him a better rating.
Yes.
So if he's cleaning up the street of gangs, then that's a major boost down, in these down states and Republican states. They're looking at him different now because he's cleaning up the streets of all of these so-called criminals that they created.
Right.
And he's in a better light now.
Right.
So we have to understand what's really going on.
And with the whole Britney coming from Russia, they getting ready to want to release Britney. That's why I'm saying elections are coming up, and we got to pay attention to what's going on because they have sworn to stay in power. That's their agenda, and by all means necessary. That's what their goal is, to stay in power. I gotta go, you guys. I love y'all, and I will definitely talk to you guys and talk with y'all soon. Mondays will be for Clubhouse. Of course, you can meet me on other platforms. Would love to bring you guys up, and have conversations that needed to be had. and then solutions that need to be implemented. With that being said, you guys have a very blessed night, and I hate to say stay woke, but please stay woke. Keep your eyes wide open. Stay prayed up. Do your research and make an informed decision based off of what you research and not what somebody told you. Until the next time, it's Dr. Tawana over and out. Y'all have a good one, and I will see you guys soon. All right, you guys, let me make sure that hung up. Oh no, I was supposed to do something else. I'm over here trying to end something that I don't even know how to do. Hold on. Because I think they're still in the room. Okay. All right, Instagram. God bless. 1', and everybody else is watching over here. We will be back, and we will continue these conversations, okay? All right over here on YouTube. I hope I didn't cut out this other one. Bless you guys. I will email you for sure. If anybody hit me up, I'll make a status. And if anybody hit me up, then definitely for those of you that would like to get involved in helping with formula, that's what we need. When things are out here, we need boots on the ground. Say, okay, well, we're still gonna get what we need, how we need to get it, because we got people that believes that if I need to eat, you should be able to eat as well. Okay, so with that being said, I will see you guys soon. Go in peace and never in pieces. Let's